Well, I just turned 17 in June, and you're turning 16 a day before Moana comes out, right?
Birthday.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
So what are you going to do to celebrate?
I will actually be in Toronto. I used to be on a plane back home, which was okay. But now I actually get to stay one more day in Toronto, which I'm going to enjoy. Thank you. And hopefully just take in the sights. Oh, it's also going to be cold there. And I've been dying to just get like some cold fashion. Living in Hawaii, you know, we throw on a scarf and then take it off 20 minutes later, but I actually get to be cute and like wear boots and stuff.
You're going to wear a nice overcoat and, you know, very cute.
Girl, you know.
Yeah. You know, I can totally relate. I mean, in California, like seasons, it drops like 10 degrees. We go, oh, it's cold, winter.
Right, yeah, no, we basically have summer, summer, or summer. Or summer.
Right.
The 4 seasons, yeah.
Which summer do you want?
None of the above. I want to go to Toronto.
Well, that sounds exciting. Now, did you ever imagine or dream of becoming an actress or a singer on the big screen?
Oh, absolutely. I've always loved singing and acting, but I also understood just how difficult it was to get into this industry. And so I focused my sights on education, which I'm still very glad that I did. And I focused specifically actually on biology and microbiology, which is a total career change. But now that I'm in this industry, I don't want to get out. And I'm so happy with the character that I've voiced, that true heroine, and I hope to continue along that path of strong women.
Yeah. Are you a junior or a sophomore?
Junior. Stop, I'm a junior.
I'm a senior, girl. Tell me about it. Yeah. So what was the hardest thing about this transition? I mean, you know, 3 years ago, you had no idea this was coming up in your future. What has that transition been like?
It's been pretty smooth. I've been really lucky, actually. My friends have been so supportive of me. My parents are so supportive. And I mean, everyone that I meet has been so kind and supportive. So my transition has been pretty smooth, I'd say.
I'm so glad for you. Now, wayfinding in the movie, it's all about, you know, knowing where you're going to go, but it's also important to keep in mind where you come from, your home. Now, growing up in Hawaii, what will you always consider home? What does home look like for you?
Oh, that's a really good question. Home, to me, has always been a feeling and also kind of a smell. I don't know why.
No, I understand.
Yeah, it's something that I can't fully explain without just saying when times get hard, I need to go home, because there's a certain feeling of protection and love that just, I don't know, exudes from the earth. I'm not entirely sure, but yes, I grew up in a small town on the big island of Hawaii, Kohala, and the rain there is different from any rain I've ever experienced anywhere else. And the sunlight seems just so much purer and so much fresher, and that's home to me.
Beautiful. Now, on the opposite side of that, wayfinding is also knowing where you're going. And Moana is always, you know, reaching beyond the horizon, you know, trying to get somewhere. So what is beyond the horizon for you? What is your passion, that destination that always draws you?
Oh, gosh, at this point, I really hope to continue in this business, in this show biz, I suppose we can call it. But also that kind of biology aspect. That's what's pushing me right now. And what I had started, my research project before I was given this wonderful, beautiful blessing of Moana, was actually figuring out how the sunscreen that we use affects our oceans. And it kind of ties right back into Moana, which blows my mind. But yeah, I hope to continue both. And sometimes I get asked like, oh, you're into biology, but you're pretty, and I just had to stop, and I'm right? No, that has nothing to do with it. And I hope that my journey will inspire others that you can be the whole package. Be smart, be beautiful, be brave, be funny, be exactly who you are. Yeah.
And that is the message of Moana, you know, to find who you are and don't let anyone talk you out of it.
Absolutely. Moana's journey is beautiful and bold, and that's exactly who Moana is as well. And her journey of finding herself is something that I connect to. Thank you. And hopefully others will as well. I think something that's kind of hit main media is that Moana doesn't have a love interest. And that's because the theme is of finding yourself. And Moana doesn't need a love interest for that. She can do that all on her own.
Right now, you are riding, the top of, forgive me for putting this way, but a Disney wave. So when you look back on this Moana journey, in maybe 5, 10 years in the future, what would be the tattoo you would get to sort of commemorate this experience?
Ooh, I'm not sure. Tattoos are very permanent. I don't know. I suppose feel very connected to my culture, and something that I've felt that I've spoken to you about specifically is that where I go, I don't know how to identify, or I don't know how others will see me, and I want to be always known as a Polynesian. And I think if I was to get a tattoo, or if Moana was to get a tattoo, because I feel like she and I are one and the same, it would probably be a tatau, which is basically a tattoo, but in more of a cultural way, which is, it's a little bit more painful because it's tapped into the skin with.
It's what we see in the movie, isn't it?
Correct, yeah. which makes that big guy bawl and cry like a little baby, but it holds so much more significance to me. And if I was to ever get a tattoo, which would be significantly later in life, I think that's what I would be getting.
What would it be of? Just a pattern, a sort of symbol?
I think it would be a pattern. We have multiple meanings in our patterns. I've been going on this journey for a year now, and when I do get that tattoo, or if I do get that tattoo, then it would be something that I feel encompasses my entire journey and whatever's to come. So haven't thought of it yet, but that's a really good question.
Just now in the press conference, what you said about being Polynesian and sort of always returning to your roots, and you are entering showbiz. So as a woman and as a person of color, what is something you want to impart to your followers?
That we are just as special, and that we are no different than any other women or any other person on this earth. That we are special, and that we are bold, and that we may say whatever we need to say, because that is who we are. And let us never silence ourselves because others don't want to hear what we have to say. I think during this time especially, we need more heroes and heroines who voice their thoughts, who believe in themselves. And that's something that I've learned, that right along Moana, of figuring out who I am. Because if I want to continue in this kind of show business, in this field, then I need to know who I am, because others will try to change me. And that's another thing. Believe in who you are and stay grounded in it. That's something that is so incredibly important.
Now, besides Moana, who is your favorite Disney princess?
Mulan. I
love Mulan.
I thought that from a young age, I realized that she had broken like a gender norm. I mean, I don't think I've voiced it as like, oh my God, she's breaking a gender norm. But I realized that she was so different from other characters I had seen. Like, she was a total bad butt. She was kicking it, and she was beautiful at the same time and kind, and she also honored her family, and that's something that I hope to do. Wherever I go, whoever I meet, that's what I hope to do.
I was very much reminded of Mulan while watching Moana, so I'm glad you brought that up. And sort of lastly, building on that, how do you think Moana, takes the Disney legacy of Disney princesses, that tradition, continues it, but also breaks the mold a little, steps out of that?
Oh, that's a good question too. Gosh, you just
did my homework.
I think Disney movies are reflective of their times, and we will ever just remember our Disney princesses like Cinderella and Belle as, our classics, and we'll watch them over and over and over again. But like I said, in this era, heroes and heroines, let us all be the person of our story who inspires others. I think that's really important, and I hope that's what others take away as well. I hope that this becomes a classic too. Yeah, I really do.
I really think so. Dwayne, when he said in the press conference, people walked out floating, I thought that was such a accurate description of how I felt when I walked out of the theater last night. So
thank you so much.
Thank you. It was lovely meeting you. Thank you.